Hey guys, sorry, just technical difficulties. We're welcoming in Joey Logano and William Byron. Guys, you had a tough run out there, battling back and forth. Joey, you with Denny and William all day long. Can you tell us, what was going on out there? How was the race?
It's fun. It's Darlington. It's always a lot of fun. You're slipping and sliding. Even when there's no one around you, it's still a pretty fun racetrack to go around. You're on the edge and right up next to the wall. It was a good race for us. Our Fitgerald Mustang was good on the short runs, really bad on the long runs. And the race played out to be a short run race, and our pit crew was unbelievable. And along with pit stall one, was able to get us the lead there towards the end, and had a good restart, was able to clear Kevin, and then there's a caution, and you kind of got to expect that towards the end of these things. And then we had one more restart, and William didn't push me, and I'm just kidding, but you didn't. And Denny had a good restart, and they were able to just use that big power and be able to pull me back and be able to have position in the turn one. And I thought I wasn't over yet, and I got underneath him off a two there towards the end, or coming into the last lap, and went into three. He knew my play, I knew his play. He knew I was going to slide up. That was kind of the only one I had, and so he checked up and turned down underneath me. When I was hoping I'd get to the wall and carry some momentum. Maybe I should have kept it to the wood and rode the wall. I don't know, but overall, just I guess second always stinks, but probably. A pretty good finish considering where we were in practice and where we qualified. We maximized our day. Just wish it was a win.
William, how was it out there for you?
This is pretty good. We had to go to the back at one point. We had a loose lug nut, I think, so that kind of was good for us. We got some momentum and was able to get through those guys. I think we got back up to 10th and had a pretty good pit stop. I think we stayed even and restarted 10th. Got up to 4th there, and then just didn't have the greatest restart at the end. So, but was able to gain some spots there. The restart before put us in position, and ultimately it was a pretty good day.
All right, we're going to open it up for questions. If you have a question for these guys, just raise your hand. We'll get a mic over to you right here in the front.
Pete Iacobelli, Associated Press. Joey, did you even you kind of mentioned it in the start. Did you even allow yourself a little bit to think, okay, I've broken away in this next to last restart. I'm going to be able to take this race if it stays clean?
Oh, yeah. I knew, I was 6, 7, 8 car lengths ahead. It was over. And that's just when you pray for no caution and you see in the mirror there's just smoke and everything. I'm like, please don't hit that hard. You're just hoping no one spun out. And they were able to keep it green. But, they pretty much had to throw the caution. I guess there was stuff all over the track. So. You let yourself think that because you look in the mirror and you got 8 car lengths. You say, all right, I got this thing, as long as there's not another caution. And, of course, there was.
Any other questions?
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Joey, how human was it in the race car, and what will you do to make sure that you're hydrated for tomorrow's race?
I felt pretty good. I ran an AC today, and it felt really nice. So I felt plenty good inside the car, and I'll just drink a lot of water tonight, and I'll be plenty good for tomorrow night. Got plenty of time. The real bear would have been if it rained today, and we raced 2 races on Sunday. Tomorrow's race feels like the longest race of the year, 500 miles around Darlington. It doesn't get much tougher than that. So. I'm glad that we were able to race today and we weren't looking at a doubleheader for tomorrow.
Right over here to the left.
Jacob Seelman, Performance Motorsports Network. For William, I know you came in here and I'm sure heard all the people saying how tough Darlington is as a rookie driver. After 200 miles today, was the race tougher than you expected? How was it different maybe than what you had in your mind coming into today?
Definitely on long runs it's probably tougher, but we didn't have a lot of those. So coming from the back, it was probably just getting arrow tight behind guys, running against the wall on 3 and 4. But it's kind of a mix between a short track and a big racetrack. So I feel like the fall off's pretty severe, but you get to kind of move around and use the apron a little bit. So the good thing is there's options, especially on restarts into 3. Everyone goes. There's 3 or 4 lanes, so it's a good race. Yeah, I felt like I was making pretty good time up there, especially 3 and 4. 1 and 2, I couldn't get it to work. We couldn't turn down off of 2 for some reason, but overall it was good for us to run the top in 3 and 4 and kind of make our car work up there.
I'm glad you were comfortable up there.
Yeah.
Are there any other? There we go.
Hey, SpencerMotorsport.com. Drivers say how much this track changes, Joey. Did you learn anything out there that you can carry over into tomorrow?
I did. I choose to run Darlington. We're really between Blaney, Brad, and myself. We fight for Darlington every year. We all want to run this race, mainly because we only come here once a year. In that comfort feeling that William was talking about, getting that comfort feeling running up top. The more laps you run, the more comfortable you get, and understanding what lines move on restarts and where you want to be. And as the track changed, we talk about this place kind of being a one-groove racetrack, but it's widened out. Even 1 and 2's widened out that you can run a couple different lanes through there. So, you're able to kind of, for the most part, refresh your memory because it's been, a year since we've been here. So, it is definitely, I feel like, an advantage to run this one. Some racetracks, maybe not as much. And for some people, maybe it's not an advantage to run this race. But for me, I feel like it helps get me a little bit more comfortable on this just odd-shaped track that we don't come too much.
Any other questions? Nope. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we'll get started here with our post-race media availabilities for the 35th annual SportClips Haircuts VFW 200 here at Darlington Raceway. We're now joined by race winner Denny Hamlin, driver of the number 18 SportClips Toyota, crew chief Eric Phillips, and Steve DeSouza with Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny, can you talk about your finish and your win out there today?
Yeah, it was a eventful day. We didn't had the best car there at the beginning. It was very, it was fast for a short run, and then we definitely trended on the freer side. And so once we got that worked out, we had one mediocre pit stop there, and we lost some positions, and we battled back from that, got to the top 2 or 3, and that was important to set the guys up for a good stop there at the end. And from that point on, we had a good restart. We were able to split the 41 and someone else, I think it was maybe the 20, on the second to last restart, get to second. The wreck happened, and then it was all about getting a good restart on the final one. I thought once we cleared him, we would be able to kind of check out, but he got through 1 and 2 really good, was right on us. And, I kept seeing his nose down there, and I thought that, the best option for me was to run high through 3 and 4. My key was to drive in as far as I could, let him drive in that far to get position, and then, kind of hit the brakes and go in the inside and switch him over. So it worked out well. Glad we were able to clear him off of 4, or else it really could have got exciting. But overall, proud of the whole team for giving us a car that we were capable of winning with.
Eric, you guys had a lot of speed all weekend. Can you just talk about the win here today?
Yeah, had a really good Camry all weekend. Kind of over-adjusted on it yesterday. Started out way too free there, and we had to work on it. I think we turned every jack bolt in the back and lots of air and all kinds of adjustments. But guys did a good job on pit road, and Denny did a good job giving us information, and we got it right at the end and had a shot to win and got the job done.
Steve, can you talk about the win here for the team today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think when you look at Denny and his history here, it's just a special event as it is this year and the last couple of years with the throwback schemes, and then with our good friends SportClips. Been with Joe Gibbs Racing now for a long time, and for Denny and for Eric, just to have them come do the job they did this weekend, really off the trailer. As Eric said, they struggled a little bit here and there, and Denny said the same thing during the race, but they were able to get their act together pretty well. And Denny's persistent here. He's got a gift for this place, and it shows up here and on the Cup side particularly as well. So for Joe Gibbs Racing, obviously we're real pleased with all of our teams this weekend, and particularly the job Denny and Eric did.
Absolutely. We'll open it up for questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start over here in the left.
Jacob Seelman, Performance Motorsports Network. Denny, I've got 2 for you, actually. First 5 wins in the Xfinity Series here. Every single one of them have come after you've started on the pole. Harvick was in here earlier today and said track position is important here despite all the tire fall off. Why is that? What's made that track record for you work out so well here in this series?
Well, I think a lot of it is, there's really one line to run through 1 and 2, so you're always in dirty air through 1 and 2. You got a few options there in 3 and 4, but for the most part, it's a tough racetrack to pass on, even if you have a faster car. So yeah, track position's important. Pit stalls are always important here, but really, all these cars are so evenly matched each and every week that any advantage you can have, and the further front that you are, the better air you're going to have, the faster you're going to go. And so I think that's what the key is. Unless you get a really good restart like we did at the end, the easiest way to pass is on restarts, and that's where we got it done.
And both cars this weekend having the Ray Hendrick, the Mr. Modified scheme on it. Obviously, you being from Virginia, I know when it was first announced, you talked a little bit about how cool that was for you. What's it mean, being a Virginia boy, to get that scheme to victory lane today and kind of pay it back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely special. I mean, this was kind of a throwback to, 85, 89. And to me, I thought about what I was doing in 1985 to 1989, and it was going to Southside Speedway. I mean, that's what we did every Friday night. It's what I looked forward to every time the school day was over. I wanted to hurry up and get to Southside and watch some of my local heroes. And at that time, Roy Hendrick, Ray's son, was tearing up Southside, winning a lot of races and championships. And so, for me, it was a simple decision to honor those guys. And even though I never got to watch Ray run, he's got an amazing track record, and 700 wins is amazing. And when I thought about doing it, Rick Hendrick, no relation, reached out to me and said he had the original car that Ray won New Jersey with, and he was restoring it, and it was very special to him because his father was a pit crew member on that team. So I talked to Rick a little bit last night, and he told me the story about Jack Tan actually gave him his very first job. Rick Hendrick, his very first job, riding up to New Jersey in the hauler to help them that weekend. So it's very cool to kind of honor people that not only are in my past, but in NASCAR's past as well.
Additional questions for our race-winning team here this afternoon. Go ahead, Bob, right in the front.
Bob Harker, ESPN. I have 2 for Denny. First, should we expect anything different tomorrow night as far as restarts and tires, and where's good to restart and where's not good to restart?
I think it's so circumstantial. I thought for a few times that I started on the outside that, one time I got beat, and I was like, I'm not sure this is the right way, but it's just, who can get to turn 1 with their nose ahead is usually got a big advantage. It's hard to say which lane I thought prevailed. I mean, I thought it was probably 50-50 throughout the day. Maybe the high line had 1 or 2 advantages, but really it's just about getting that good jump. So I don't think it's as beneficial being the leader at this type of racetrack when you have that, when you go into turn 1 and have 1 lane. But tomorrow, I think with the tire limitations, we had it today where we didn't know when to take tires, when not to, because you only have a certain amount. If you have 5 laps on your tires and you have 5 laps to go, you're probably going to pit again. So we tried to save tires, and luckily had 1 more set there. But tomorrow will definitely be a tire war. I believe the last few times here, we've had guys run out of tires. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
And it looked like after the race that NASCAR and the track were looking at turn 2. I don't know whether they were looking at a sealer or one of the patches there, but did you notice anything with the track there?
There's a lot of patches there. I've seen that really over the last few years. There's been more and more patches, but I didn't notice anything in the race car that I thought was detrimental.
Anything else for our winning team? Go to Lee right here.
SpencerMotorsport.com. Steve, do you have your Xfinity lineup set for 2018? Do you have any idea how many teams you'll have?
That's a great question. I believe we're going to stay at 3. We're working through all the details of that now. Really just started not too long ago, but we're starting to move forward on all that now.
We'll wrap it up here with Bob.
Steve, can you just talk about where you guys are at as far as the composite bodies for next week? How many cars do you have, and do you feel confident about what you have?
Well, all three of them will have composite cars next week, so that I can tell you. That's a good question too. I'll have to check on that when we get in the shop. You know, it's a big project, obviously, to do a body conversion partway through a year when you're trying to compete every week in a point series. But the guys have done an awesome job, and we're learning as we go with it. The NASCAR's done a pretty good job with the car as well as far as developing it, so you can put it together and come off the out of the shop with it ready to go. So I think that part of it's going to be pretty well. It looks like it's going to be very similar to what we have now aero-wise, so I don't think that's going to be a huge detriment. But I think as we get into it, we're going to have a long day next week where NASCAR planned it just to give everybody the opportunity to kind of work through it. They've been very straightforward in what they're looking for in the cars, so I think it should go fairly well.
Oh, and we'll wrap it up with Chris here. Final one.
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com, not to take away from Denny and Eric what Eric did today, but Steve, do you guys expect to, on top of what Lee and Bob said, do you guys expect to keep the ARCA team intact for 2018 as well?
That's our plan.
Gentlemen, thank you. Denny, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.